You creep forth, attempting to minimize your noise as much as possible. The crunch of your boots in the snow, practically a booming cannon amidst the silence of the night. The forest is dark, lit only by the light of the full moon. It's illegal to be in these woods at night, outlawed for the very reason you're here, to hunt the sovereign stag, a rare and majestic beast whose meat and fur are believed to have magical properties. If you can successfully kill it, you'll make a fortune on the black market. As you round a corner, you freeze in your tracks, the cold air stinging your skin as you see it not 20 yards away. The stag you've been searching for, nibbling on a tree branch, glowing like an angelic being. This is it, your moment. You raise your bow and aim your arrow, taking in a deep breath, slowly releasing it to steady your aim. Suddenly, an arrow whizzes from the dark, hitting the snow-covered ground beneath your feet. A creaking sound emerges from it, and you look down to find thorned vines already wrapping around your feet. You panic and begin to struggle, but to no avail. You're caught tight within nature's grasp. The stag, already alerted to the commotion, darts away deep into the forest. You curse under your breath and frantically survey the darkness, hoping to find your attacker before they can notch a second arrow. You spot something and release your shot. Your arrow disappears into the darkness, along with whatever you had seen. The sound of it landing in the distance informs you failed to hit your mark. You're about to ready another arrow when you spot it, a face as pale as the moon itself, poking through some trees. You recognize the figure, protectors of the forest, protectors of the night. She does not need to finish you off. Death by winter's freezing bite will do that for her. She smiles, and your heart sinks deep into your chest. Your actions have been punished by the Moon Elf. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Roll Phase Podcast. Today, we're going to deep dive into the character known as, or the hero rather, known as Moon Elf. When I say we, I'm not just talking about myself, Skylar G, in some weird, creepy, third-person way. I'm talking about Skylar G and Bill Frosby. Bill Frosby, welcome back to the show.
Hey, what's up?
So glad to have you here.
Yeah, I really want to see an episode one day where you pretend to be me and I'm gone for a day. I'm sick or something, and then you record as both yourself and me, like maybe an April Fool's joke for a future day or something.
This is a great idea. I need to write this down.
Or another idea is we play each other.
Oh, I like
so, like,
that.
I go be Skylar G for a whole episode, and you're Bill Frosby, and I ask you a bunch of questions, and you like just make up stuff.
Just have to make
up stuff just on the fly, and act like you know what you're talking about.
I mean, I'd have to do that either way. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, no, that's fair. I've been wondering, but yeah, no, I'd have to do that either way. Like if I just pretend to be you.
Yeah.
But then I'm also mitigating trying to also be me. That just sounds like a lot. So we might have to do the one where we just pretend to be each other.
Yeah, that sounds smarter.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. But that's an idea we'll have to save for next time.
Elf.
Yeah, we have to get to Moon Elf here.
You gotta get to Moon Elf because you desperately want to get to Moon Elf.
Yes, I really want to get to
played her
like probably 2 times now. As of this last Saturday, which is several Saturdays ago.
Yeah, I got to watch him play Moon Elf for the second time.
He's been berating me ever since. He texted me yesterday morning at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And he said,
I cannot sleep.
Yeah. Dude,
Your Moon Elf gameplay haunts me.
Yeah. You said something about you woke up in a cold sweat.
Yeah.
You had a nightmare where I was playing Moon Elf again. You said I was dressed as Moon Elf, playing as Moon Elf.
And you kept saying kawaii for some reason.
Yeah, I kept saying kawaii.
And then you kept going for demising shot, even though the opponent had targeted him on since turn 1.
Sure.
For all the Moon Elf listeners out there, you guys would have thought that joke was really funny.
Yeah. Classic dice throne joke. That's what we
do a Dice Throne podcast.
We do a Dice Throne podcast. We got to make Dice Throne jokes. No, it's great. The sad thing is like I feel like as my part of the person that knows less than you do, I miss it.
Hey, You know what? The listeners didn't. They
That's
got
true.
the joke.
It's for them. It's for
and
them.
They probably went, oh,
Nice.
that's probably what they did. They probably do exactly that.
Dude, I love that. That's awesome.
That's what we look for. That's what we look for is, oh, nice.
Nice. Get a little chuckle there. Hey, it's a podcast. You know, they're doing something else. They're focused on, like, maybe you're out there, you're mowing your lawn or you're gardening or I don't know, whatever. I'm trying to think of, or I do it while I'm driving. I listen.
What you're doing right now while listening to this, I want you to stop what you're doing.
If they're driving in the middle of a highway, we got
they can do this. They can do this.
Our German listeners.
Stop. Directly.
Our German listeners are out there like on the Autobahn going 120 miles an hour.
Jeez.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
I don't think they're the average German listener is doing that crazy stunt.
You can do whatever you want on the Autobahn.
Yourself a pat on the back.
Oh, sure, yeah.
A little pat on the back. You're be proud to be you. All right, now let's play some Moon Elf. Let's
wax your bow and fletch some arrows. It's time to dive into the Moon Elf.
Did you have that written?
Yeah, I did actually.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was my intro. If you look at the episode description of these, I usually use those. So like when we did Barbarian, I did the whole bit about like tighten your loincloth. But Wax Elf, or gosh,
The wax elf, future character.
the Moon Elf does not wear a loincloth, or I don't know, maybe, but probably pants over top of it. Yeah,
A dress, it looks like.
yeah, some sort of like wintry looking. It looks warm.
Very white hair.
Yes.
Is this what they wanted for the breakdown? Just me describing
Describe
what she
the
looks like.
of the Moon Elf. Okay.
Very blue eyes.
Yes, thank you, Bill. Blue is the moon itself.
The moon is blue?
Oh,
What
yeah.
moon are you looking at?
Oh, man, the one that comes out every fortnight. Did you know that a fortnight is every other week, which is also how
2
often?
weeks.
Yep, which is also how often we post podcast episodes.
Yeah, we post every fortnight.
So if you're out there on a fortnight waiting for the next episode, it's headed your way. Next fortnight.
You can't use that word anymore.
Okay,
That game ruined everything.
I know.
Ruined all fun things.
It's true. It's true. Like golden SMGs and
There
shopping
was a time.
carts.
There was a time.
And what's his name?
John Wick's in it.
That's who I was trying to think of. John Wick. It ruined John Wick.
But those movies are so good. Have you seen those movies?
Yeah, I just didn't care. Bored.
Bored.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's just people shooting at each other, man.
It's not. Oh, whatever. It was.
Anyway, this
Moon
allows so
Elf.
much. All right, so just like we did for Barbarian, we're gonna deep dive into this character. We're gonna look at pretty much every element of Moon Elf, and we're gonna do sort of a deep analysis. What's good? What's bad? When is it good? When is it bad? Bill, when will you wear wigs?
I heard it.
Dang, that actually answers like 3 of the questions. When? Why?
Mhm.
Bad hair day.
How bad?
How bad?
Bad enough to need a wig.
That's good. Okay, we really need to get into Moon Elf because people are listening right now and they're going like, "Oh my gosh, it's just gonna be table talk. It's just gonna be them goofing around. I hate these bozos. Oh, this is like the intro episode all over again."
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm just waiting for you to ask the first question.
No, you're right.
It's like you're stalling.
it's true. I swear I'm not trying. Okay, Bill. Last time we talked about the Barbarian.
Yeah.
High health, high damage.
Yeah.
What are we looking at for the Moon Elf as far as let's call it identity, right? How would you simplify the premise behind Moon Elf? What is she going for? What's her vibes, man?
She's very evasive. Hard
Okay.
to hit.
Right on.
That's her main thing that makes her good. Her defense has a pretty good chance to dodge half attack, just base kit defense, right?
Okay.
And then she gets a lot of evades, and evades have the chance to just completely dodge attacks. So, that's her main thing. She doesn't deal as much damage as the average character, pretty low damage amounts, usually doing around 7 to 8 damage a turn. Yeah, 7 to 8 damage a turn, which isn't the crazy amount, especially paired with the fact that she has no undefendable whatsoever on her board, meaning that you're doing 7 to 8 damage a turn, but then you're also getting hit back by your opponent's defense. And so if you minus, like, they hit you back for on an average of like 2 to 3 damage,
Right.
then you're gaining like 4,
Okay.
which isn't the best.
It's not great.
So where she gives her strength is her dodging.
Sure.
taking half damage from her defense or taking no damage from evades hitting, or her blinds hitting as well, which if your blind hits, it means your opponent's offensive ability just has no effect. And so that's another way you just avoid damage.
Just 3 different ways that you're mitigating the damage coming to you.
Correct.
Plus your your defense is one of those. Interesting. Okay. Wow. Okay. So people don't consider her, at least like within the meta and things, people don't consider her very strong. And yet we're looking at a character that somewhat consistently, I mean, I guess to a certain extent there's randomness to it because you always have the dice in play. Even evasive requires certain numbers on the dice roll. But we're having 3 different ways that she can really dodge copious amounts of damage. Why is she sitting so low? I mean, I get the damage element, like you said, her output is pretty low, but to be able to, like, I mean, I guess she's a long game character, right? I can dodge, and then, you know,
slowly whittle them
ever
down.
so slightly. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, what are we looking at? I mean, I guess maybe I'm jumping too far ahead here, but why are we seeing such a low? Like, what's the downside?
Her major downside is, like you said, she wants to take the game a little slower. She's not as high damage. She's whittling away the opponent while evading a lot of damage. The thing is, most opponents, if you play the long game against, will get decent to high card draw, while Moon Health has 0 economy, and she has no way to gain card draw. So while the game is going long, your opponent is getting more benefit from the game going long while she isn't. And usually those characters who have a long game also have decent to high defenses, which means that Moon Elf, who hits every defense, is taking a lot of return damage, which is kind of in a way evening out the game. Unlike with a lot of other characters, they will save their mods, their tippets, their helping hands, whatever. They will save those to get you out of like abilities and stuff. Because of how low end damage Moon Elf does, they will typically save those tip mod cards for when you roll for evasives and they finally hit. They'll just make you re-roll that or change it so it doesn't hit. And then the problem is, because you have really bad card draw and no economy as Moon Elf, if you don't have a mod card to save you, usually when that evade finally hits, it might just be gone, and because of the mod card, right?
Got it.
So that was the big thing. But then the biggest downside to Moon Elf is she is the second most expensive deck in the game.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So many expensive cards, so many expensive upgrades. Her lowest cost upgrade is 2, and she has 10 upgrades in her deck.
Wow,
Out
okay.
of like 30 cards, 10 of them are upgrades. A third of her deck are upgrades.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
And upgrades are, with how expensive her deck is, almost all auto sells. So a third of her, so she has no economy, she has no card draw, and a third of the cards in her deck are auto sells.
Got it. And we're gonna get more into like the card breakdown,
Which
at the end.
upgrades you might want to play. Yeah, but at the end of the day, her deck's just so expensive. And she has really no ways to really fuel any of it, and you're going to be selling a lot of cards
Got
to
it, got
play
it.
those stronger cards that do more.
That's fascinating. So, like, I'm not really sure what verbiage to use here, but she has a lot of exterior things that are working against her. Her deck is working against her. Like, she has the defense stuff that's working very well for her.
Her abilities on her board are amazing. Her defense is really good, one of the best in the game, because it can prevent half damage and deal damage back.
Absolutely.
She has a ton of ways to get evasives and blinds, which are all ways that can cause your opponent to evade stuff, not hit you.
And she's great at messing with her opponent. She's great at avoiding damage. She's mid at dealing damage per se.
She doesn't take advantage of the fact that your opponent just whiffed 3 turns in a row.
Right.
I remember I played against a Moon Elf the other day in a competitive scene, and they hit 3 evasives and 3 blinds on me.
Wow.
That's 6 whiffs, in a sense, of damage. But I lost by 2.
Wow. Okay, close game.
I only hit him for 1 normal attack and 2 ults.
Oh.
All of the rest of my damage was from my defense. I think I did around.
They can't even use the evasives.
Like 20 damage on my defense.
Right, because you can't use an evasive against an ult.
No.
So,
And
and
she
because
doesn't
she
have-
has so few cards and no
She
economy.
has no really way to stop ults.
Interesting.
So I almost won
Yeah.
After 6 whiffs. And that's the thing.
Fascinating.
6 whiffs, and she still barely won. So that kind of shows her major weaknesses in the long term. She doesn't take advantage of the fact that your opponent whiffs 6 times by hitting really hard damage. It's just bit by bit, just slowly working on your opponent to hopefully they just keep missing and then they're dead before it's too late.
Right. And so, yeah, she's obviously really relying on her stuff to force you to continue. But to have somebody miss 6 times, basically whiff 6 times in a game and still barely pull the victory is kind of a terrifying thing to think about. So now, speaking of which, really quick, can we go into blind? I know we mentioned it. What is it doing, and what are we looking at here?
It's just simply when your opponent locks in a offensive roll, they just want to do one of their abilities, say they're small straight. After they declare it, they ask their opponent, I'm locking in small straights, I go through, and the moon elf says, yeah, that goes through. And then they immediately roll the blind before you do anything else. You just roll it. And if you roll a 1 or 2, whatever you just declared you wanted to do goes away. It just, you don't do it. Your turn, that just, you whiff, and then you go right to your main phase 2. It's like an evade, but with extra elements, because it also makes them lose whatever status effects they were going to gain.
Oh, and to top it off, let's say that you roll your whatever it is that you're doing, your ability or whatever, in 2 rolls, but you've locked it in at this point. And if you roll that 1 or 2 and you don't do anything, it's not like you get another roll or something like that. Like, you're just done.
Yep.
Got it.
Turn.
Yep.
So it sucks, but the way you kind of counter it is you keep status effects and you save them for blinds.
This is true. This is true. Now, before we leave the sort of leaflet / status effects, we do have one more left. And this one's going to help with that damage output that we talked about before with targeted.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at with that? That one adds like what, 1 or 2?
2 damage.
2 damage. Okay.
Every attack for the rest of the game.
Until it gets removed or something like that.
The opponent dies.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So that kind of helps a little bit when it comes to her low damage output.
You want to hit your main goal is for your first couple turns is you're looking for an ability that puts targeted on your opponent or gain some evasives or blinds and put them on your opponent. And then once you get that target on your opponent, then you just go for your evasives or your blind abilities. Mostly going for covered shot, or if you can hit a small straight, large straight's really nice on her because it's blind, evasive, and 8 damage. That gives you 2 different ways you could try and dodge all their attack. But honestly, you could just go for max basics every turn.
Oh, okay.
If they have a targeted on them, because that does run 9 damage, and that's
pretty solid.
That's for her board. That's pretty solid. The only thing better than that would get a covered shot, which is 9 damage as well with the targeted plus an evasive. So, and that's pretty consistent as well.
So, like, there's ways to kind of get up there, but it does require that you get.
I will say
targeted first.
Targeted makes it a lot. Your odds of winning with Moon Elf go a lot higher. If you go a whole Moon Elf game without laying a targeted, you're probably not going to win.
Got it. And of course, targeted, that's a stack limit of 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to max out at +2, but +2, that's pretty solid, honestly. So, all right, let's jump over to her board. We're looking at her abilities and her defenses. So, again, low damage, ideally high effects. Got to get that targeted on her to become any kind of threatening, scary, whatever, right? What about entangling shot? Actually, that was one that we did skip over, but sure, now's a fine.
Entangle?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay. Remind me what it does.
Your opponent rolls 1 less roll.
Okay. So just another way to sort of
slow your opponent's
towards
roll.
That whiffing or whatever else.
So they only get 2 offensive rolls instead of 3.
Got it. Okay. So with that being said, you've got entangling shot, you've got blinding shot. What's kind of our direction to go across our board here? What are we looking at as far as like what should we try to strive for? You kind of gave us an idea of like what tokens to be focusing on to distribute to your opponent. You want to get that targeted. You want to really blind them, evade, stuff like that.
If you roll like 2 6s on your first roll, early rolls, you really want to try to go for a demising shot. That way you can put target on your opponent early, and then you could just not worry about that again for the rest of the game, right?
Okay.
So then the question is basically for the first roll, you go for demising shot of early rolls until they get targeted. If your opponent has targeted, what you're looking for is basically you roll the dice. If you see you have a good straight right off the bat, use your next roll, try to get for a large straight, right? Her large straight is by far the best ability, which to be fair, most characters large straights are their
That's
best.
fair.
But if you have a natural small straight, you can roll for that large straight. That's huge. If not, it's whatever. But what helps her is if you have a small straight with like a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, 3, 4, 5, not only will you be rolling in between your small straight, but you'll also be rolling for her covered shot, which is 7 damage and invasion. Her small straight is 7 damage and entangle. So they're both 7 damage. It's basically, do you want evasive or do you want entangle? The answer is you always want evasive.
Got it.
Because the thing is, most people can usually, our advice and our tips and tricks is you want to end your turn by your second roll. So like entangle just makes people play the way you usually want to play characters anyways. So
This is true.
and you have entangled on you, you can play around it. You can just go for the safer option, right? When you have covered shot, it's an evasive. Like the only way people can go around it is they forcibly make you re-roll the dice, or they use a card to get rid of your evasive. But either way, they had to expend a resource to make you lose it. While entangle, they can just play smarter.
Well, to be fair, the evasive, that's entirely based off the fact that you get it in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have to roll and get, what is it, 1 through 2? Yeah. So, I mean,
It's not guaranteed either.
yeah, it's not guaranteed. In fact, it's what, 1/3 of your possible rolls.
Yeah.
So-
While entangled though, yeah. So like if you have the choice between covered shot and your small straight, you'll take in covered shot every time.
Got it. Okay.
But like I said, you only go for the small straight if like you were going for the large straight and you didn't get it. Then you go for the small straight. But otherwise, if you could see a way to go to covered shot, just go to covered shot.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then if your opponent has targeted, honestly, the way I've always played her is, did I get a natural straight on the first roll? Cool, take large straight, take it. Did I roll exploding arrow or my minial on the first roll? Cool, I guess I'm going for 6s. Otherwise, if they have targeted, I'm going for covered shot or my basic attack every turn, because I know my defense is going to do the rest of the work, and my evades from covered shot, which is the main thing I'm looking for with target on my opponent. I just hope my evades and my defense do the job of mitigating damage. I'm going to just send out 9 each turn and hope that, I can speed up the game as much as I can.
Absolutely.
And hope my damage mitigation does the rest.
So just to review, we're going to get targeted on our opponent as quickly as humanly
But
possible.
don't hard chase it, because
Sure.
it is a hard chase. It's 2 6s and then 3 bows and arrows. I think they're called. Yeah, arrows. That's not the fully easiest thing to do, and it can get easily whiffed. A lot of characters have that dice layout of AAACC, and it can be easily whiffed. I would only go for it if you roll 2 6s on the first roll, and then I would just go for the rest of the arrows and finish it off. Hopefully you get on the second roll, and then you're pretty good there. You lock that in. That's awesome. But if you roll 1 6 on the first turn, I wouldn't chase for another 6. I would just look to see, do I have a straight with that 6? No, then I'm probably picking up that 6 and going for a covered shot or a more inside straight that's not using a 6.
That makes sense. Okay. And then, just kind of jump in. If you can get the targeted, then really just jump in between targeted shot.
Yeah, once your opponent
covered
has targeted on you, it's a lot easier of a game plan, because you're just focusing damage at that point.
Damage
right?
and maintaining a healthy balance of evasives if you can get them. So, and then we jump over to her defense, right, which is missed me. Give me the rundown on it.
You simply you roll 5 dice, and if you roll 2 feet, which is her B symbols, so she has 4s and 5. If you roll 2 feet, it takes half damage. Simple as that.
Is that it?
If you roll 2 arrows, you deal 1 damage back.
Okay, so it's got a little bit of that, which that was one thing that we had to hang up on when we did Barbarian. He just healed. That was it. That was all he could do. And you had said if he had the ability to deal damage back, that would make him a much more powerful character with his defense. Moon Elf has the possibility to dodge half the damage, round it up, and the possibility to do a little bit of damage as well. And then again, we're going to talk about this later, but her upgraded defense helps,
That's a lot better.
do a lot better. Yeah. So, okay, cool. So again, good stuff. Again, dodging half damage, and that's without even having to use your evasives, which you can use after you roll your defense.
See how your defense roll went, and if your defense roll failed to take half, then you can spend that evasive.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So it just adding to that chance that you might be able to get it. And that's without even using like better D if you want to make sure that you roll like whatever. Before we talk about her ult, really quickly, Exploding Arrow has an additional benefit to it, right?
Making your opponent lose CP?
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
And it's just one, right? Or is it more?
1 per 6 roll, you roll 5 dice. If you roll multiple 6s, they'll lose multiple CP. Most likely, you'll only roll 1.
Yeah, true. Statistically speaking.
The thing about exploding arrows is you're chasing 6s,
Yeah.
and this character really doesn't have a need to chase 6s.
Sure.
Because you don't really get that much. Like, you inflict blind, you deal damage to the opponent, but like, it needs 3 6s. Unless if you roll 3 6s naturally right off the bat, you're not like if you roll 3 6s right off the bat, cool.
Gun for those 6s. Because if you get a 4th one and heck, if you get the 5th one.
Yeah, if you roll 3 6s first roll, cool. I pick up the other 2, roll them again. If you get a 4th one, go for your mini. If you hit 2 more, it's an all on the second roll naturally. That's crazy. But if you pick up those 2, you'll probably roll into like if you didn't get an R6, you rolled into a foot and an arrow. Well, then you can just go for exploding arrow as your second one, and then people, if they want to try and like make you miss that on their second try, they use like a helping hand or something. Then you kind of can pick up those dice and go for like a demising shot or something safer. Or yeah, it's really up to you.
Yeah.
But I would not ever really chase exploding arrow.
It's just not worth it. Got it.
Especially since like the damage it does is about the same as like your blinding shot, but it's a blind. Like its main appeal is it puts blind on the opponent, but like your large strength is the same thing, but for more damage, and it gives you evasive, or you could just go for evasive, which would still cause your opponent to miss an attack, just like the same percent as your blind. So like, why hard chase for something when you can go for something easier that does almost the same thing?
No, that's totally fair. Okay, so we've gone through pretty much everything on our board. I think one important thing that we should take a look at, of course, is her ultimate. We've got other things obviously after that, but for now, let's take a look at the ultimate. Now, you again, ultimate expert here, having done a video and everything, outlining every single ultimate in the game and ranking them. Where is Moon Elf's ultimate kind of falling in with the range?
When I made the video, I broke down ults into categories with good early game ults, good late game ults, and then good all around ults.
Okay.
Moon Elf has one of the best early game ults.
Oh, okay.
Because it puts target on your opponent.
Perfect. Okay,
which is
that
what
makes sense.
she's looking to do in the early game, right?
Right.
Late game, it's not as good. It's still good. It's an ult, and its huge added benefit is the only way she can deal undefendable damage.
Oh, yeah.
Because she doesn't anywhere else on her board.
This is
so
true.
her ult is guaranteed damage that your opponent won't roll a defense on. So that's a big plus.
But that goes for any character.
True, but the thing is, it's her only way.
Yeah.
So that is a big plus for her.
Fair enough.
But if your opponent has targeted, it loses some value, but it doesn't lose as much value because you gain the evasive, you gain the blind, you put a blind on them, and you entangle them. So you basically put a target on your opponent, and then you make their next turn a high chance of a whiff.
Sure.
So you deal 14 damage at them, right? And then the chances of them whiffing the next turn are decently high.
Right.
That's really good value.
That's solid.
It's really good value. The problem is you have to roll those 6s.
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't have economy, so she's not
coming
drawing
out.
cards, so she's not really chasing mults that often. So,
Well,
yeah.
that's the tricky thing. So, okay, so solid starter game, but that's awesome that she still has, like, again, she has value here. There's definitely value here. It's just that she has, much like the Barbarian, a lot of things kind of working against her within her gameplay, which is, again, very fascinating concept to have a character that's like, yeah, they got great elements. They also have some elements that are really outside of the game. And again, I don't really have like an idea of what the terminology per se would be here, but there are elements working against her in a weird way. Like she has hangups that are causing her to fall behind. And it's just really interesting to see how that all kind of comes together. So, okay, so let's look at her cards. You said that she has a boatload of upgrades in her deck. So
10.
they're very expensive.
Yeah.
10. Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
What's worth it? What should I actually buy and what should I just throw out?
Exploding arrow. She gets 2 of them.
Okay.
Sell both.
Okay, just don't even upgrade.
I mean, I
Exploding
just
Arrow.
told you not to go for it. Why would I tell you to get the upgrade?
Totally
The upgrade
fair.
the upgrade really doesn't make it worth it.
Got
So
it.
Sell those. And remember, her cheapest one is 2.
Yes.
So they're all expensive. Large straight. All it gives you is a decent fallback, but the fallback does no damage, and that's not what you need. So sell that.
Sell.
Small straight. It does do a decent amount of damage. But the problem is you really don't ever really want to go for a small straight because it gives the worst status effect on your board. Like all of her stuff gives status effects except for her basic, right? The thing about her small straight is it gives just entangled, and your opponent will really work around entangled. So in the long run, it's not good. So sell the small straight and really just try not to go for small straight. You're going for other things. Demising shot, sell it. Especially sell this one.
Sell it twice.
Remember, the only reason you're going for demising shot is to put a target on your opponent.
Right.
You don't care about anything else on this card. I don't care it does 2 more damage. I'm only going for this once in the game.
Yeah, I don't need to accomplish it multiple times. Now, if they remove it, targeted,
you go for a second time.
Okay. So do follow up, but again,
you're going to put 2 targeted on your opponent if they remove it once. It's like, it doesn't make it worth it. Remember, the key to an upgrade is you're going to use it 2 to 3 plus times in the game to make it. So like if its CP cost is 2, then you should at minimum be playing it at least 2 to make it worth it, right? Like I just said, you're only going to do this at once in the game. It's not worth it. Her mini ult, it's decent for the fallback, not worth it. It's too expensive. It's 2 CP. You don't really need it. And at the end of the day, it needs 3 6s for the 4 6s. It really doesn't change much. Adds 2 more damage. Cool. That's not what you're looking for.
It's just not enough.
And the fallback is 3 6s. I could just go for exploding arrow.
Yeah.
So sell that. That leaves me with longbow 2, her basic, longbow 2, longbow 3, covered shot upgrade, and missed me, her defense upgrade. These are the 4 that you will really look at to play.
Okay.
Her defense upgrade is if you draw it early and your opponent's going to hit your defense a lot. If the answer is I drew it early and you have Hitting Parade or Vegas in your starting hand, sure, play it. If you draw it early and your opponent's going to hit your defense a lot, insta play it. If you draw it early and your opponent's not going to hit your defense a lot that game,
that they do a lot of undefendable
damage, then probably don't play it. If you draw it anywhere after the first 3 turns, sell it.
Got it.
So that's that one.
That one's in the middle.
That one's in the middle. That's the flex. Everything else I said before that are instant sells for me.
Yep.
Because her deck is too expensive. You just can't afford to be playing that many upgrades.
That's fair.
And then it comes to the last 3. Covered Shot 2. I always recommend playing Covered Shot 2 for 2 main reasons. First one, it is usually your most used ability. You will be using it basically every other turn, if not every turn. So adding 2 more damage to it, it's extra damage you're doing every turn. If you have this upgrade and target it's 11 damage a turn. That's really good, especially with an evasive. That's what you're looking for. But it also has a decent fallback, which isn't awful. The fallback gives you an evasive, and it deals, wait for this, 2 undefendable damage. She has a fallback that does undefendable, which sometimes might be better if your opponent's got a strong defense.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, say for example, because the fallback is 3 feet, covered shot needs 3 feet and 2 arrows. Say you have 3, 4 feet in your first roll. So you pick up the other 2 and you're looking for those arrows, right? Say you only get 1, but you just can't hit the other one. Say you kept rolling multiple feet, right? Cool. Take the evasive fallback. You get an evasive and you deal 2 or 4 if you have targeted. It's something. It does damage. It gives you evasive.
It avoids
and it avoids a whiff too.
Okay.
So I always play cover shot upgrade. And then finally longbow 2, longbow 3. Longbow 2, I would only play if I drew it on like the first couple turns to prepare for the eventual longbow 3. I will play longbow 3 every game, and I think it is the strongest basic upgrade in the game. Because it does max basic does 9 damage, I believe. Yep. Which is insane for a basic to do 9 damage. But then you also have to remember targeted exists for this character. So that's a basic dealing 11 damage. There is no other basic in the game that does 11 damage. That is insane for a simple to roll objective. What makes this even better is if you're going for that max basic, which is very easy to, honestly, if I get an early target on someone, and I want the game to go quick, I'll play this and I'll literally I will only go basic for the rest of the game.
Wow,
Because
that
it
is
does so much
fascinating.
damage. And then it has the added benefit of if you roll 3 of a kind, you also put Entangle on your opponent. So not only will you be dealing 9 to 11 damage a turn, which is a decent amount of damage, and you have your defense to kind of do the mitigation to kind of help you stay ahead. But then on top of that, if you can hit 3 of a kind because you're chasing max basic every turn, you put Entangle on your opponent. And remember, when Entangle's on an opponent, sure, they're probably not going to whiff. They'll just go for something, but they have to play smarter, and they usually can't chase the higher value things because they only get 2 rolls.
This is true.
So not only are you doing higher amounts of damage, but your opponent's also having to play safer, meaning they're not going to be doing as high of damage. And if they do hit your defense, so not only do they not do as high of damage, but they also are hitting your defense, which also has the chance to that lower damage being halved, which is even less. So like you're coming way on top each turn.
Oh,
So
okay.
so for my recommendations, I always say play Longbow 3 for sure and play Cover Shot for sure. And then I would play Longbow 2 if it's like the first couple turns, because it makes Longbow 3, it makes it cheaper.
Technically, yeah.
So you gained value from it until you drew Longbow 3. And if you don't draw Longbow 3, well, your basic was still strong. And like I said, you're kind of going for your basic quite a bit.
You're jumping between basic and the cover shot, so it's like
you're getting more damage if you play that, so it's totally fine.
You're getting that value you talked about for what you're having to pay for.
Exactly, and it's your long-term value of if you play Longbow 3. But say you don't get Longbow 2 in the first 2 turns, you draw it like turn maybe 3, 4, I'd sell it. Because in the long run, you're just going to use that 1 CP to play for better cards in the moment, or that 1 CP will just eventually carry over to when you draw Longbow 3. If you do, again, you're not going to probably draw it because you have a terrible economy. But if you do draw it, then you could just play it instantly. And unless if you have less than like 15 health or 20, if you have less than like 20 health, I probably wouldn't play Longbow 3 or Cover Shot at that point, because you kind of want to focus your other cards, your mods and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're under 20, you're not going to play any upgrades really, but that's my advice with any character. Under like 20, 25 health, you're not playing an upgrade. But before then, I would instantly play Longbow 3 or Cover Shot. The only caveat to Longbow 3 is it does cost 3 CP. So it is very expensive, but it's expensive for the reason that it's really strong.
Absolutely.
So if you get it very early, turn 1, massive, like sell, place it, and go for it. Well, don't hard rush it. If you can get a demising shot to put a target on it, then you're only going to make that basic attack even stronger.
This is true.
Turns, but
fair enough. Okay. So let me ask you this. If I start the game as Moon Elf, I draw my starting hand of 4 cards. Let's say I play second. So it gets to my turn. I do my income phase. I draw a 5th card. I've got 5 cards of just upgrades in my hand. How screwed am I? Because there's a high likeliness at this point, given how much of her deck is just upgrades.
What I would do is sell one.
Wait, one more detail. I have asked my opponent if I can have a mulligan, and they said no.
And they start pointing and laughing at you.
Yeah.
Because they know what your hand is.
Yeah, you've given away too much information.
What I would do if I drew 5 upgrades is I would sell one, play the best one.
Okay.
And then
of the ones that you've mentioned,
and then bluff the other 3.
Fair enough. They're the filler cards. They're
that is what I would do if that was what my starting hand was, because that's the best case scenario. I am not playing more than 1 though, because
I mean, you're not gonna hit. I mean, you might hit your hand limit, but you're gonna be like 6 cards in, and you're not gonna have to worry.
Yep. And I mean, if you drew 5, then that means one of them is probably Longbow 2, Longbow 3, or Covered Shot, or your defense upgrade.
This is fair.
So the odds of that are pretty high.
Yeah.
So you'll probably be fine. But this is a very niche 5 upgrade turn. But I have had turns where I've drawn like 3 or 4 upgrades in my first turn. And to be fair, this character has 10 upgrades. If not, that's the most in a character. So the odds of you doing that are
reasonable.
not that rare compared to other characters.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
okay, and then next up we would talk about her special cards that are unique specifically to Moon Elf, aside from her upgrades, obviously.
She's got some interesting ones.
Okay.
I'll start with the simple one, Volley. It's 1 CP, attack modifier, roll 5 dice. For every arrow, you add damage, and it automatically inflicts Entangle.
Okay.
Not bad.
Not bad.
And
how much is it?
It's 1 CP.
1 CP? Okay,
Not bad. And it does Entangled, which is like the least status effect you're really going for. So you really could play this whenever. I would just say make sure your opponent doesn't have like an evasive themselves or whatever. Wait until you see if they If they have a dodge effect of some kind or like a half damage, wait to see if it goes through. If it doesn't, then play this. That's the only caveat. I would put
Is
with it.
Entangle 1 stack?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, don't play this if your opponent has Entangled. But like I said, you're not going for anything really with Entangled on it.
Yeah.
So you'll probably be able to play this. You really just want to pay attention to your opponents, like if they have an agility or an evasive,
Right,
or
because
like
you don't want to waste this attack modifier.
exactly. You want to get the most value. You want to get the most value out of it, especially with how CP starved you are.
Yep.
It costs CP, so you want to make every card that you play value.
Yep.
Next one is evade. It's 1 CP and gives you an evasion. Basically, you keep this in your hand until like really late in the game, and then you're getting hit for a big attack. Your opponent kind of went for a big attack because they see you have no evades on your board or something, or your defense failed. So they're like, oh, I can add an attack modifier because I know they don't have an evade and a big attack. Then you drop this evade, and then
because it's an instant.
It's an instant, and it's 1 CP, but then it's like a surprise.
Yeah. Boom! I got an evade.
A surprise 33% chance you just dodge all their attack.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's a pretty nice sneaky card that's pretty good, but it's not guaranteed. That's why.
Oh yeah,
but
it's solid.
It's solid.
Yeah.
All right. The other two are like the first two I just named, evade and volley. You're playing every time, all day, every time. It's just wait for certain moments. The other two are interesting. Take that. So Skylar just played Luna for the second time, right?
Yep.
In his opening hand, he had the card Take That. So I'll read the card Take That because it's an interesting card.
And I'll tell you exactly how I used it.
Roll 1 dice.
Okay.
On an arrow, deal 2 extra damage.
Nice.
On a foot, add Entangled. On a 6, inflict blind. All 3 things decent for 0 CP. Here's the problem with Take That. Skylar, when he was playing, showed me the card and he asked, do I play this now? When do I play this? I said, you play that if you're not putting Entangled or blind on your opponent so that you can get maximum value for this because you don't want to roll in because you only roll a single dice. So if you roll, say for example, you're putting blind on an opponent, you don't want to roll that dice and roll a 6 and you waste the card, right? So I told him that advice. If you're putting Entangled or blind on them, don't play the card. Skylar then proceeded to put an Entangled or blind on the opponent for the next 8 turns, and he was down to like 5 health, and he looks at me and he goes, I don't think I'm ever going to play this card that you told me to wait to play until the perfect moment. And I went, I don't know what to tell you. You should have gone for more covered shots. That's really what it is.
In my mind, I was thinking, okay, I need to take this guy out. If I play this and I happen to roll an arrow, it's +2 damage. That could be the difference between winning and losing this game. So that was my thinking. I'm glad that it wasn't like the ultimate stupid play. I'm glad you're not like, this idiot over here asked me every turn for the next 6 turns if he should play it.
It's just, that's the advice with it because you don't want to run, because all of the stuff, you're blind, her entangled, and her targeted at a stack limit of 1. So you really don't want to go for an action that will hit the stack limit, right?
And for anyone out there that's thinking to themselves, but Skylar, it's a free card. Who cares? No, it's a card. The card itself is also economy.
Think of it like this. This character is economy starved, right? Mm-hmm. If you're putting an Entangled or blind on an opponent, right? And you play this card thinking, oh, the blind's a 6. And I'm rolling a single dice. I've got a 17% chance this will fail, right? You roll that dice. You're playing with fate now. You're playing 17% chance. You should have sold this card because you're economy starved. You need CP.
Sure.
It would, if you rolled a 6 when you're putting a blind on someone and you waste that card would have been better to just sell.
Sure.
Because you used it for nothing.
Yeah.
It was a net 0 card. You wasted a turn drawing this thing and then playing it to do nothing.
Right.
It would have been just easier to grab it and just sell it.
And then you have a whole CP.
You're planning on playing this card at inopportune times.
Right.
Thing is, though, it's not even that hard of a card to play. So if you're like, oh, but if Skylar went the whole game not able to play it, it must be a hard card to play. No, Skylar should have just gone for a covered shot and played it because covered shot doesn't Entangled or blind.
Gives you evasive.
It gives you evasive so that this card guarantees to do something.
This is fair. Or if I had gone for her base attack.
That too.
And
both
that doesn't do anything.
And both are good.
Yeah.
So
fair enough. Okay.
Skylar was too busy chasing freaking straights that game. That's what I remembered him doing.
Strikes?
Straights.
Oh, straights.
Yeah.
Probably true.
Yeah. So
I didn't whiff that game, just to clarify. And I won.
No, and you won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for those listening.
Final card. This is the
Moon Magic.
this card is weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's expensive.
It's 4 CP,
Holy cow.
which is not good when you're a CP
Very
star player.
expensive.
You get evasive. Okay.
Yay.
You put a blind on your opponent.
Right on.
Yes. You put a tingle on your opponent. Yes. You put target on your opponent. That's
Oh.
the best part.
Ooh, wow.
It costs 4 CP. I really only play this card if it starts in my opening hand or I draw it like on turn 2.
But even if it starts in your opening hand, you don't necessarily have 4 CP at that
I mean,
point.
like, I don't play it. I just plan to play it.
Okay.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I can put that targeted on someone early, and that's the goal, right?
Yep.
The thing is about this card that I always look up for. Another reason I'll play this card is if my opponent played what status effects early. Because that's the best counter to this card. You play this card, you spend 4 CP, you put blind and tingle and target on your opponent. Your opponent then pays 2 CP to get rid of all of that. Like, you just wasted 4 CP.
Ouch.
Like,
Yeah.
So I definitely I don't like playing this card if my opponent has not played what status effects, unless if it's one of the earliest turns, because then that means the odds of them having what status effect on that. Because this card is it only gets countered by what status effects the turn you played it. Because the only thing that stays after that turn is the targeted, and what status effects isn't as good to just get rid of a targeted, right?
Sure.
So you won't lose the value from this unless if they have what status in their hand. So that's why it's not a bad idea to play it early, like sell a card and play this immediately, because it puts a target on them first turn, which is huge.
And then you could
you could go for a covered shot or longbow on the first turn, because that's all you need to, because you put a blind entangled on them, so everything else is doing the same. And then you get the extra 2 damage, and then you can then spend those next 2 turns building up CP and go for other stuff. And then the reason you play it early is because the odds of your opponent having what status effects in their first 5 cards are really low, so you can really benefit from that.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Other than that, I sell this card.
That's
almost
fair.
every time. So like those are the only like 2 niche conditions.
Very narrow
the
parameters.
only other time I might play this is if I drew a Vegas baby and rolled 3.
Okay.
Like I rolled 3 CP from my Vegas baby. That's the other time I might consider playing this. If
You got a lot
I
of
don't
CP.
want to say you have a surplus, because on this character you rarely have a surplus.
Sure.
The last time I played this character, I think I played Moon Magic on turn 4, and I hadn't played a card to that point. Then drew Moon Magic, and I got a Vegas baby for 3, and I was up to 7 CP on Moon Elf, which is insane to say out loud. And so I was like, I think I can play this. It's turn 3. I have 7 CP.
You hadn't inflicted targeted by that point?
Hadn't inflicted targeted. I'm like, I guess I'll play it. And I'm like, my opponent hasn't drawn a card yet from like another effect. So they have 7 cards. What are the odds they have what status effect? Probably not that high. I'll play it. They didn't. It ended up working out for me. So.
Okay, right on.
But like
You were lucky up until that point, and the luck continued.
Yeah, so it
So
was a very niche situation. But that's the thing. Moon Magic is most often a sell, because it's so niche and it's too expensive. It's just way too expensive. It's almost always a sell. I named like the few situations where you play it, but it's very rare. You usually are selling it. And I'll be honest with you guys, you're going to be selling a lot of cards in this deck.
and you're not going to be drawing very many to sell. So you're playing a dangerous game there. You're definitely not going to be able to play a very good, the psychological game that we've talked about in the past, where it's like, maybe I've only got like 2 CP, but I've got like 5 cards in my hand, and you don't know what I might have. So you're going to play really careful, and yada, yada. Like, that's going to be really hard to do with this character.
Yeah, you got to go for simple choices and hope your mitigation works.
Oh, yeah. Which I guess that's the benefit, right?
Yeah.
They can get some really high damage attacks, and
then they just
jump
go
out of
away
the
with
way.
an evasion. Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Save try agains again for
Okay.
your evasions. That's huge.
oh, yeah.
Some trick I've done before is that kind of surprised my opponents, but I think it's not a bad idea because your opponents kind of don't. If your opponent hasn't played Treasure again, I wouldn't advise doing this, but I've let people activate an ability when blind is on them, and then have them roll for the blind, and then mod them into the blind working, so it makes them whiff their whole turn.
Sure. Okay.
And then forces your opponent to have to choose, like, do I mod it back to get my turn, or do I just accept the whiff? Or This is why I say I usually only do this play if I know they've played Try Again or sold it, because if they have Try Again, then they'll just play that and then it's
Reroll.
the perfect use of it. Try Again is funny in this matchup because it's a really good card for Moon Elf. Because you can use it on your evasions. But Try Again is funny because it's one of the stronger cards your opponent can draw because you can use it on blinds. And so it makes your chances of getting blinded pretty low.
Fair
You
enough.
just hold that Try Again all game until the one time where it
Yeah.
fails, right? Also, bye-bye. You just play bye-bye on, like, you could just hold bye-bye if you have blind on you, and then if you manage to hit like a big turn, you're like, well, I don't want to lose this, bye-bye it, right?
Yeah.
So like there's that as well.
Which of course you don't have to worry about if you're doing ranked play. It's a banned card. But if you're not, if you're playing with your friends or your whatever, yeah,
Or like online.
Or online.
uses bye-bye. So.
sure, yep, it's a dangerous. You got to watch out for it. Obviously, any character that's heavy on their status effects, you always got to be careful with that. Yeah.
You could also bye-bye your evasion.
All right, cool. So we've gone through her upgrades. We went through a couple of the key cards within her deck, why they're important, things like that. Just like from the standard cards that come with everybody. All right, let's look at kind of from a meta perspective. What are we looking at as far as like her best counter situation for her? Who is she countering really well, and who counters her really well?
She doesn't counter many characters.
Okay.
But the characters she does counter are characters who swing big 1 damage attacks.
Pyromancers. No.
No, because Pyromancer has one of the best defenses in the game that usually can deal like 4 to 5 damage back, and she has all defendable attacks, meaning you are hitting that Pyromancer's defense every turn, and it's going to hurt you.
Okay. Next guess. The character she comes with, the Barbarian.
Oh, great against Barbarian.
Okay, fair
really
enough.
good against Barbarian.
Got
These
it.
big, massive swings.
He,
and
on the other hand, does not do much with his defense.
For meta character, she does really well against. Doctor Strange is kind of in the meta. He does a lot of big single attack turns. He likes to build up his spells to do big attack turns, but can't because if they get evaded, then those spells kind of...
It's wasted, yeah. Okay.
Krampus, he does big swinging turns as well. One of his stronger rejects is things that make attacks undefendable, but the thing about Moon Elf is she doesn't really care if you hit with a big undefendable if you have built up evades that you kind of are saving, waiting for like a Sarge play or something like that.
You can evade it undefendable?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, just not the old.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can evade undefendables. All undefendable means is you don't roll defense. That is all undefendable means. Necromancer. He's actually a pretty big up-and-coming meta character, but the thing about Necromancer is he just does massive big swingy turns.
Sure.
Every turn after he builds his army, he does about 10 to 12 damage
and everything, yeah.
And the thing is, those need to connect, but they're all mostly all defendable, so she's going to either half the damage or evade it. So she's good against that. She's good against Wolverine, who's kind of meta as well, because he wants to do those big, massive swingy turns. But the thing is, if your defense hits, like he's holding rage. But the thing is, if your evade hits, he'll hold his rage another turn. Or if your defense halves, he'll hold his rage another turn. And then Wolverine ends up just holding his rage a lot. So then that kind of helps you.
You know, you can't hold your rage in. You got to let it out.
Yep.
So that it can go out to the ocean.
Artificer.
Okay.
He does a lot of big swingy turns and has a really terrible defense. So she doesn't get punished by that. That's
fair enough. Okay.
Black Panther. She doesn't really hit. She only really hits once.
Sure.
Her defense might hit once as well, but
and there's the chance that once he builds up all of his stuff and then he takes his big swing, she just could dodge it.
Correct.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Jean Grey. She's fine against Jean Grey. She's just big. She either builds up or does her massive attack, but it's undefendable. You just dodge it. Vampire Lord. She's pretty decent against Vampire Lord because Vampire Lord she'll struggle trying to heal. Use her 4 blood power to heal against Moon Elf because if you evade or do half your defense, she won't want to spend it because she won't get full value for that heal. So that helps.
That's a fair point. Okay.
That's about it.
Well, you did name quite a few characters. It's a nice handful. It's just nothing from the top.
None of them are from the those characters are you'll see them bouncing around 15 to 20.
Yeah.
15, 25. So about near middle. She does good against.
Middle, yeah.
But there isn't a single top 10 character she does really good.
That's fair.
But that's the thing is the top tier characters are they don't do big massive swingy turns because then they would get countered by characters with protect or agilities, right? And then a lot of top tier characters have really good defenses or mid to good defenses. Moon Elf struggles against anyone with a mid to good defense because she hits it every turn guaranteed.
Okay.
So it evens out the game. So
Okay, makes sense. Okay, final question then for the Moon Elf. And I have a prediction here, but what is the number one mistake you would say people make when they play Moon Elf? I have a thought.
chasing sixes, going for exploding arrow. Well, okay. Chasing sixes, thinking that there's a safe six path. Correct. She does have a safe six path because you have 2 6s on demising shot. You have 3 6s on exploding arrow. You have 4 6s on eclipse. You have a staircase of 6s, right? The problem is her 6 abilities, her demising shot and exploding arrow, aren't as strong as the simpler things to roll. All right. And the common mistake people will do is they will have roll 1 6 and they think they can chase those 6s. But the thing is, even if you hit those 6s, you're not getting as much value as if you went for something easier. All right. Like a covered shot is as much value as an exploding arrow, but it's way easier to hit.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that makes sense.
That's one big mistake. The other big mistake with her is overstack.
Oh, sure.
She has
With her status effects.
correct. She has a lot of different elements from her cards. And then also from, say you did play Moon Magic and it gave you all the status effects. If you went for like any ability that did one of those other status effects again and you hit the overstack, not only was Moon Magic a really costly play, but you made it worse by going for a play that did overstack.
Right, exactly. Go for your basic ability or
You
go
have
for that
targeted
evasive.
on your opponent and you go for demising shot again. What are you doing? Right? Like
right.
it's stuff like that. Those are my main 2 things I would
Okay.
say. They're the problems with her.
I was going to say for like really new players who aren't super familiar with just Dice Run in general, they're just getting into it, probably would have to be the upgrade situation.
Yes.
Like they're just
Yes.
not all worth it or very
That's
few.
a very common thing you'll see with a lot of newer players is
Right.
they think like they think of the character like upgrades. I know everyone, then they're brand new to Dice Dance. They think of upgrades like I'm permanently making my character stronger. Why would I?
I did it.
I did. Everyone is new to Dice Throne. You're so used to video games
Yeah.
and any form of building up a character for a fighting game.
Cool loot.
Yeah,
I'm slapping that new armor on.
The stronger you think your character is, the stronger they are. So when you see a thing that makes one of their abilities stronger, you're playing that as fast as you can, right? What you learn when you play more Dice Thrones, though, is you only really want to play 1, 2, 3 upgrades a game, depending on how good of your character's economy are. Past that, you're really not touching any more upgrades, right? Moon Elf is probably only going to play 1 or 2 at most.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the biggest thing is you have to learn, like, and hopefully this video helps you, like, this episode helps you learn, like, these are the upgrades you're looking for. Everything else is just a bait. It's baiting you into buy it. Don't fall for it. Like,
It's a scam.
buy the ones I recommended and then consider the flex of the defense. But like everything else, sell instantly because it's not worth it in the long run with how bad this character's economy is. That's the other big thing. Play this character a lot or have a good understanding of Dice Throne economy and the
Right.
value of everything, right? Because this character really has to make you rethink the value of everything because she has no natural value in her character. Her character is very expensive and she makes you have to get as much out of your every CP as you can, right? Meaning you have to really understand the value of every action you're taking. I know for a newer player, they're hearing me say that and go, what the heck are you talking about? And what I will respond to that is, it makes sense the more you play.
Yes.
Like it's hard to explain.
Figure it out.
It is hard to explain, but the more you play Dice Throne, the more you understand every card's value is really how much will it gain you in the long term of the
Yes.
game, right? Like, for example, when I mentioned with playing upgrades, like I always say, how many times I'm going to play that upgrade? What's the potential value? If I'm only going to play it one more time, I'm spending 2 CP to play it one time. The value is not there. But if I spend 2 CP and play that upgrade, I use that upgraded card 4 times, I doubled the value of what I paid in a sense, right? So it's stuff like that. It's things you have to think about with every card. And that's the thing about like try again. I could use try again to move a basic attack from a 5 to a 7, or I could use that try again to get 2 more chances for an evade to hit. One's adding 2 more damage. The other one could evade up to 12 damage, right? Like there's value there. I paid 1 CP to go up 2 damage, or I paid 1 CP to avoid 12 damage. Like every card has value, and you have to learn where all the value is and the most you can push out of each value. And I think Moon Elf is one of the characters that like, it's a trial by fire character where like you will lose until you figure out full value understanding of every card. And until
Absolutely.
you figure that out, this character will be a very luck-based character, because it's really like, does my evades hit? Does my blinds hit? Does my defense hit? Because that's kind of what it is. Like, if your things aren't rolling good, you're going to lose every game with this character.
100%.
Then there's nothing you can do about that.
No.
But if you're rolling high, like that guy I said I was playing against the other day who made me hit 3 evades and hit 3 blinds, the dice were rolling hot that game. I still somehow almost won, but like that was through choices and actions I was making to help better my odds and play through it, right? But the thing is, if you're rolling hot with Moon Elf, you're rolling hot and say thank you dice and just keep rolling the consistent high damage and just keep hoping, those evades hit, the defense hits and stuff. So
Absolutely. Force your opponent to really have to be strategic about their game, because if they make a mistake, you have an advantage, and I mean, you're just getting it out of luck. So well, Bill, I don't know about you, but this whole time that you've been talking, I have been tightening my bowstring.
Okay.
I have fletched, I think, probably a good dozen arrows. I mean, I'm not saying they're great, but they're decent. I'm going to put on my Moon Elf outfit and I'm going to go outside right now. It is 9:17 where we're at. It's dark outside. I'm going to go see what I can hunt.
yeah.
And I don't know if you want to join me. Awesome. You might need a matching outfit. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of embarrassing.
Why
And
do you have an apple? Why are you pointing to the top of my head?
well, I just thought maybe if you could hold this for me.
Hold on.
You just hold it for me, and then if you could stand over in that corner over there. I just want to test my aim. I want to make sure that my bow is tightened correctly.
Close my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to you. That's up to you.
Turn around.
You don't have to do that either. I don't care if you see this coming or not. It's happening. So excuse me, everybody. That's the end of this episode. I'm going to go shoot this arrow off of the top of Bill's head. And for all the rest of you guys, we will see you guys next time in the next episode of the Roll Phase Podcast. Well, that's a wrap on another episode.
You know what, Skylar? But with the Roll Phase, there's always more on the way. We want to say a massive thank you to all who tuned in and joined in on the Roll Phase.
That's right. And if you enjoyed the show, please hit that subscribe or follow button on whatever platform you're listening on right now. It really helps the show climb through the rankings and get in front of more listeners.
And don't forget to find us in the wild. You can follow the Roll Phase on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok, where we'll keep you updated on new episodes and even post more content following us and our Dice Throne journey.
Yeah, who knows? We might end up at a convention near you or doing an impromptu video about a brand new character announcement.
Yeah, and if we hit 10,000 subscribers / followers, Skylar will dress up as his favorite Dice Throne hero, Psylocke.
Wait, what?
Oh, and don't forget, we want to keep the Dice Throne community growing, so be sure you're also following the official Dice Throne social accounts to help support this game we all love.
Yeah, good idea. Hey, can we circle back to the Psylocke thing?
You're right, Skylar. The best way to grow the community is to support the original creators.
Yeah, I know, but
Until next time, this has been... You're supposed to say it.
the Roll Phase Podcast.
See you all next episode.
Hey, I never agreed to.